In just over an hour, the sister of late Senator Lindsey Graham will be sworn in as senator. Darlene Graham Nordone will represent South Carolina until next January. Nordone getting the nod from President Trump, who wrote, "I recommend to Governor Henry McMaster, Lindsey Graham's wonderful sister Darlene, to serve as interim senator from the great state of South Carolina." This would be a fabulous tribute to Lindsey, who loved her dearly. So many tributes are coming in, and I'm pleased to bring in now a friend of the late senator to discuss his legacy, Professor Alan Dershowitz, Harvard Law School. Professor Dershowitz, great to have you. We also want to point out you have many best-selling books, and the newest one is Founding Fathers and One Jewish Mother. So congratulations on the latest book drop there. But now to your friendship with Lindsey Graham. You didn't start off as friends, opposing sides during the impeachment proceedings against former President Bill Clinton. So talk to us how you could be so much divided and then come together for 30 years.
Well, we were really at each other's throats on the opposite side of the table. He was one of the managers seeking to impeach Bill Clinton for what was not an impeachable offense. And I was one of Bill Clinton's supporters, ultimately joined his legal team as well. And so we fought like children. Then when he got to the Senate, I got to know him much, much better. We met a couple of times in Israel. We met in Washington. My wife's family comes from Charleston, South Carolina, so I knew him through that connection as well. And he was a great man and a funny guy, a guy you really want to spend time with. You'd love to sit over a cup of coffee with him because he had so many good stories and always was able to bring people together. And so, you know, it didn't surprise me at all that we could start out on the opposite side and end up on exactly the same side on issues relating to Israel, relating to American security, relating to so many issues. Look, I disagreed with him on some issues, on domestic American issues, but for the most part, we really came together over Israel. He had the best understanding of Israel of any member of the United States Senate, with some exceptions. Obviously, Ted Cruz does too, and some others, but he really understood. He understood Benjamin Netanyahu. He understood his strengths and his weaknesses. He understood President Trump, and he was able to bring people together. So, you know, he'll be missed enormously in the United States Senate. Trump used to call him all the time when he had a problem with a Democrat and say, "Solve it for me," and only he could bring people together. So he really served in the way that senators should serve, bipartisan. His best friend was Joe Lieberman. They were associated politically. They loved each other religiously. Joe Lieberman wrote a book about the Sabbath, the Jewish Shabbat. And I know that the senator loved that book because he was a staunch believer in his own Sabbath. So he always found grounds on which to agree with people rather than disagree, even when he had differences.
You know, it's beautiful to hear these stories and sharing them from true friends like yourself. I saw we covered the dedications on the floor, the tributes, and Leader Thune got pretty emotional as he talked about his relationship with the late senator. You know, there also were some questions about the FBI investigating his death. It was sudden. We now know, according to his family, it was this aortic dissection. But I want to play what President Trump said, Professor Dershowitz, when he was asked in the Oval Office about this within the past hour.
I don't see a lot of evil there. I know there's all sorts of conspiracy theories going along, and I don't think the FBI, I think the FBI is wasting their time.
Do you agree that there should be an investigation?
Look, anybody who opposed Iran and who dies suddenly should be investigated. I remember once being in a case in Kiev, in Ukraine, and I was working with a lawyer, and we were working against the Soviet Union, and the lawyer, 55, suddenly dropped dead of a heart attack, and we discovered that the Soviets had a way of inducing heart attacks. I'm not suggesting that happened here. This was an aortic rip, which is not as easy to plant as an ordinary heart attack. So I doubt that there's any possibility that this was a murder. But there never is any harm, particularly in the age we live in today, where there are so many conspiracy theories about everything. Let's put it to rest. Let's have, you know, a determination that clearly indicates that this was a medically induced cardiac event that killed him. that's tragic enough, but I have no problem.